let's take out .com, for example. And if we save and refresh, now we see an error message for line 31. So we didn't manage to connect to the database. That's why we see this error message. And then we can see that our link variable is a Boolean false. And then we can see the output of our die function. Okay. So since the function MySQLi connect returns false when we don't manage to connect, we can change the structure of our code, and rather than doing the check after we set the link variable, we can attempt connection and then use the keyword or, okay, and then write the die statement right after. Okay, so we don't need this check anymore. So let's try this. So if you refresh the page, okay, so we can still see the error message for the connection, but now we can see the output of our die function. But we don't want to see this anymore because if you don't manage to connect, we just want to show this message. So there is a trick we can use for that, is going to be by adding at just before MySQL I connect, okay? And now if we refresh, we can see that we see only the outputs of the die function, okay? So we can use the this at symbol actually when we are setting a certain variable to an expression, okay? And it's a good trick to avoid getting the generated PHP error. So now let's try with correct details and see what happens when we connect to the database. And we can see our success message there, okay? All right, so that's how we can connect to a database and check connection using SQLi, using the procedural way. Now let's try the objects-oriented way, okay? So let's comment this and write another piece of code. So now to connect to the database, we are going to set our link variable to an object, and this time we're going to use a constructor. So you're going to use the keyword new and then MySQLi constructor. So the constructor is going to take exactly the same parameters we have used earlier. So the host, username, password, and database name. So you can just copy those. All right. And the difference now is going to be the link variable is going to be an object all the time. So even if we fail to connect to the database, okay, the link variable is going to be an object, unlike the procedural way where the link variable could be a Boolean false when we did not manage to connect. Okay. All right. So now let's check the connection. Okay, let me just add a comment there. So that's connect and that's checking connection. All right, so now to check the connection, we're gonna check a condition, okay? And we're gonna use a property of the link objects. So this property is connect underscore error number, okay? So we want to make sure, so we're gonna check if this one is greater than 0, which means that we've got an error, okay? And then if that's correct, if that's true, we are going to use the function die, and we're just going to output an error message, okay? So you're going to say enable to connect, and then colon, and then we're going to add the error string, and this time it's going to be a property of our object. Okay. So in the procedural way, we used MySQL connect error function, and this time we are going to use the property connect error. Okay. And it's going to return a string describing the last connects error. All right. So let's use that. I'm just going to add this string. So we're going to the link object, and we're accessing the property connect error. Okay. And then right at the end, we're going to echo our success paragraph. Okay. And if we save and refresh, so you can see that we are connected successfully to the database because all details are correct. If we change anything there, then if we refresh, now we can see an error message, okay, corresponding to line 39 where we're trying to connect, and then we can see the output of our die function, okay. Okay, let's change this back to .com and have our success message. Okay, so in the next video, we're gonna learn how to connect to the server and create a database in the server.